Welcome, everybody. This is the I Know Nothing podcast, where you will learn nothing. Today we have Dylan Banner. Dylan is a baseball player who's been training with us over the summer. Dylan, I know who you are now. Can you please give your elevator pitch of who you are, where you're from?
Yeah, of course. So what's up, guys? My name is Dylan Banner. I'm from Long Island, New York, Plainview. I graduated Plainview JFK in 2022, and I committed to the University of Albany. I'm a right-handed pitcher there. I actually committed as a two-way, but I've leaned more towards the pitcher-only side. Just finished up my sophomore year, had a pretty successful year, headed into my junior year. So hopefully big things ahead, and just going to keep getting stronger and healthier for my upcoming season.
There's still possibility that you're a two-way in the future. Maybe?
I still think so, but my coaches might think otherwise. But you know what? I think my strong side has definitely been leaning towards pitching, and I think if I do want to play professionally, it is as a pitcher, and I think there's more opportunity there for me, especially. But you never know. You never know what could happen in the next year or two. So
For sure. Okay, let's go right into you as a high school athlete, because you're already talking about how you were two-way, at least in high school. Maybe we're going to start at UAlbany as a two-way. So give us your background of high school sports, because I know that you obviously played basketball as well. So what'd you do in high school? What sports did you play? What positions did you play? And what it was like playing sports on Long Island, because it's a little bit different than here in upstate New York.
Well, the competition in Long Island, whether it's basketball, football, or baseball, it's all very competitive. You'll see that on social media that there's a lot of kids going to colleges for multiple sports. But yeah, my main sport was baseball, obviously, but I love basketball. I played varsity basketball for my sophomore year, and my junior year, unfortunately, got shortened. We only played 4 games because of COVID. And then my senior year, we actually went on a historical run at my high school. It was the only time we've ever made the championship. But there was something about competing in high school basketball that made me the athlete I am today, especially like the way like we compete in other sports. That's not my sport, because basketball technically wasn't my main sport. There's something else about competing another way that makes you just such a better athlete when it comes down to your main sport.
For sure. The point I wanted to make about the basketball thing is usually, even though I knew Dylan a little bit because he actually started here doing PT with one of our physical therapists, and then he came over to the strength side. But just by looking at him, he's a large human, but I can't tell if he's a good athlete or not. And then he started training with us. I'm like, wow, he's like one of our best athletes in the group, and he's just a pitcher. And when I say just a pitcher, that's not a bad thing. He's a multi-sport athlete. But he started over time letting me know how good of an athlete he actually is. And he's like, listen, I can dunk a basketball. I'm like, really? In high school, he shows me this video of a steal around half court, maybe 3 steps, off one leg, just yams a dunk. The reason I think that's so important is a lot of the people listening to this, again, are right now, they're my friends. They're parents of athletes that come here. But we have a lot of baseball kids who watch this, and they are going into single sport athletics, baseball being one of them, in 7th grade. And you're just the epitome of someone who's a Division I scholarship athlete who played multiple sports in high school. So I think it's important for people to know that you're a phenomenal athlete and your specialty is pitching right now in college.
Especially as a pitcher, I think it's super important to get involved in, at least at a younger age, to get involved in other sports, because the worst thing you can do for your health is throw all year round. I mean, working out all year round is awesome, great for you, but competing in another sport and even just getting exercise in another sport, that's not baseball specific, because the more you work on those muscles, the more prone you are to injury, I feel like, especially as you go heavier.
Well, you're 100% right. Yeah. You've been in baseball your whole life. Look at all the injuries you've seen over the course of time, and it's just rapidly increasing because of this fact. I'm going to pause there. We didn't even tell everybody that we're wearing sunglasses right now. Okay, so we're shaded up.
It's also the first I Know Nothing podcast that is filmed outside. So
it's also 100 degrees currently. We decided to do this for no reason at all, but here we're at. We're here, 100 degrees, we're shaded up. I want to go into Long Island because I've become a big fan of Long Island. You grew up on Long Island. Can you just explain to people what it's like growing up on Long Island just as like a kid, and also like kind of go into the sports of it too? I know you said it's competitive, but just like obviously you play for the Titans, all of these things, like what it was like growing up on the island.
Yeah, well, you know, you play Little League, no matter where you are, you play Little League, but you play travel baseball with those kids, and then you play high school baseball with those kids. So the friendships and relationships that I've built not just like outside of sports, but I play sports with all my best friends, at least throughout high school. So that really made the sport that I love, baseball and basketball, even flag football when I was younger, just very enjoyable. Like I know some kids like have to kind of get dragged out and like they don't want to do this because they don't really like the people they're surrounded with. But I think it was just my friends and my family and the coaches that I was involved with was just very helped me a lot in enjoying the sport rather than like.
So you played with the same group of guys for the most part?
My high school basketball team, my senior year, we were the starting 5 on our CYO team when we were in 5th grade.
Whoa.
So we played from 5th grade, and then we made a historical run our senior year, which from 5th grade to 12th grade is insane.
I didn't know this, so I want to kind of talk about this for a second. What about with baseball, like with the Titans and stuff like that? Was it similar or no?
Well, I left my Little League team to go play travel baseball with the Titans when I was like 12. But even for my Little League, we played together from we were 7 to 11, and then in high school, my sophomore, junior year, and senior year, we all played together. So, and yeah, even with the Titans, the relationships I built when I was 12, I played with them, and I still keep in touch with some of those kids since we were now.
I don't know if you have seen this with like younger guys that coming into Albany and stuff, or just like friends that you know, but I'm seeing it because I deal with the population specifically like end of middle school to early college. It's like my groups, and I'm seeing with baseball specifically, they bounce around with teams so much, but they don't get what you said, which I didn't even know that is they're not building relationships, but then they think they're going to go play college baseball, and they don't understand the concept of team.
Yeah, exactly.
And every day, you're just talking about it earlier today, like you always are like, hey, do you know this person? This is a guy I played with. I didn't realize that you had all those teams that you played together for a long time. So it's a huge note for kids and parents, like, hey, just because you think you're bouncing around to always showcase teams, you're missing the point.
100%.
And one of those points is being part of a team and growing up with these people and having, these friendships that go on way past baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
It's important.
Yeah.
I know you answered this question to me before, but I can't remember what you said. Did you actually do weight training in high school?
It was very inconsistent.
Okay, so you didn't really weight train.
No, and I really hadn't. When I would go to the gym alone, like I really didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, and I feel like I missed out on a pretty big opportunity there. Where as my body was still growing, I didn't capitalize on the weight training and the nutrition as I could have. But I feel like it kind of worked out well. To an extent.
I don't think you did miss out. Of course, maybe you could have gotten stronger.
Yeah.
But you're still a Division I scholarship athlete. But you played multiple sports, and you were playing sports all the time. I think it's important for people to know that. Like, obviously, I'm a strength coach. I believe strength training is important, but there's levels to it. You were playing sports all the time, giving your arm rest because you were playing other sports, and for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, you were pretty healthy throughout high school?
100%,
Yeah. Okay. You had told me this about going through the recruiting during COVID.
Yeah.
Kind of just shed some light on what happened during that time.
Well, obviously, like the prime time to get recruited is sophomore, junior year. By your senior year, you should have an idea of where you're going or where you want to go. But of course, COVID, when it was 2020, we were in a dead period, so we were barely even playing games in the summer. And when we were, the umpires were behind the pitcher. Scouts weren't allowed to come out. They kept extending it another month and another month. So the only way I was getting recruited was by email, video, through the Long Island Titans, the guys who were helping reaching out to coaches that were allowed to, because I wasn't able to talk to them.
Right.
So then I'm a guy that you kind of need to see in person, like the physical ability of me, the size, and the way I do some stuff is unorthodox. The way I pitch is unorthodox. The way I hit was unorthodox. But it was obviously a very difficult, especially during that time, because coaches are just getting flooded with emails and text messages. So it'd be lucky if you got an answer from one of them. So say I sent an email to 20 guys, 20 coaches, I'd hear back from one if I'm lucky. And like that was just like because I saw other kids on my team getting committed already, and I just kind of wanted to get going already. But it took a little bit of time. But like I said, everyone's different. Everyone's recruiting process is a little different. But the one advice I have for all you high school kids, even middle school kids that want to play college baseball, is find a school that is interested in you as much as you are interested in them. Because I had a few schools that I was super interested in, but they weren't really giving me the attention back. And then I finally found the match at UAlbany where they were like, yeah, we want you. We're going to turn you into the best baseball player we can. And that was that was it. That's all I needed to hear from school.
No, I mean, it's just super important for people to hear that coming out of your mouth, not mine.
Yeah.
And I feel like this recruiting process during COVID changed the game for everything. And I'm sure you're even seeing at UAlbany where you have the transfer portal now. And all of these, baseball has just changed, especially at your level, though. At the Division I level, baseball is a absolute business. You've been at UAlbany for how many years? 2?
2 years, yes.
How many people have transferred in and out from that time?
Hey, our team from my freshman year to my sophomore year was so different. We maybe had 12 returners, whether it was kids graduating, kids entering the portal. Especially we didn't have a great year our freshman year, so a lot of people are going to transfer after you don't have a good year because they want to go to a winning program. But then we turned it around our sophomore year. But even this year, even our junior year, even after a good season, we're going to have new guys. We're going to have guys leave. We're going to have a bunch of newcomers. Even there's still kids on our team that are playing COVID years, that are playing 6 years, that are 24, 25 years old.
Crazy.
And our freshmen are coming in at 18 years old, which is absurd if you think about it, because that's like, imagine I was 10 playing senior varsity baseball.
100%. It's the reality of the world, and I'm not going to keep every person who's come on here so far. We've had a couple other college athletes. They've all explained about the transfer portal, and parents and kids, my only suggestion, go learn about it. Go talk to coaches who deal with it. Go talk to athletes who have gone through the recruiting process and are also in college, so that you are aware of what it's about to be like when you're a junior or senior in high school.
I mean, the way I look at it is with the recruiting, at least, I committed to Albany to win, and I'm not going to leave because we had a bad season. I don't want to be the, like, oh, we lost, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go somewhere else, try to win a championship there. But no, they recruited me, and I decided to go there to win, and I'm not going to leave just because we have a bad year. So I'm going to go there. I want to be the reason that we turn the ship around and that we actually start winning some games, which we did our sophomore year. We had one of the better seasons in the past few years, but I think it's only uphill from here.
Dylan promised me he's going to get 1,000 views on this. If there's any takeaway, that's going to be like the clip right there. If there's any takeaway, that is the biggest thing that I've been trying to get at again and again and again, with not outside of this podcast, where we are losing that team mentality. That your thought process, in my opinion, is the right thought process, both for sports, but both in life. So it's just really cool that you think about like that at your age. You're still young, and that's great. Hopefully more people start to do that in all of sports, across the board, from the professional level down. Okay, so the thing I want to move into is a little bit of the strength side for a second before we have a little fun with steak, spike ball, and stuff like that. When you started training, and you don't have to go into like specifically to UAlbany, but when you started to like weight train consistently, did you see transfer over to the game of baseball? Did you see it help you immediately or no?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even after like the one fall I didn't really play baseball, and I like during at least basketball season I would get in the weight room and still focus on baseball because I was already committed at the time. I wanted to have a great senior year, and I would get in the weight room after these basketball practices and even do some pitching programs with my coaches back home. But yeah, you instantly see a difference. Whether it's just a lot of it's a confidence thing.
Right.
You start to see your body transform a little bit, and then you're like, wow, like this is actually working. Now let me work on my craft, and you see that working, and you're like, wow, like I can really go to the next level with this, and really succeed at a high level, which is really all you can really ask for as a college athlete, even a high school athlete.
When you started training, were you doing anything fancy in the weight room, or were you doing basic stuff?
I'd take a lot of my stuff from YouTube. I'd look up, I'd go to Instagram, I'd look up like Twitter, all these strength coaches, like what exercises to do. And then I finally got into a place like this where it was like a strength conditioning. I really I was there for about a few months, and I just got an idea of what I need to do. Rather than I probably could have worked harder when I was there, but I got an idea of what I need to do going forward, whether it's weightlifting, conditioning, nutrition, all that stuff. So
it's good to hear you talk about it. When Dylan first started with us, like as on the strength side of things, if you looked at his workout program, you wouldn't know he's a Division I scholarship athlete. For the most part, it's fairly basic. Now, I give him some certain things that are rotational in nature. One of the things that we wanted to focus on was like this level of core. We have the most basic ab routine. It's called abs every day. He does it every day. We like modify it, but it's the same thing I would give to a high school pitcher. It's just the difference is his intent, his strength, and his consistency is what the key is. If I look at who showed up the most this summer, he's in the top, and he started later than most college athletes. He doesn't miss. So it's something that I say it again and again here on this podcast to athletes is like the consistency is the key. You've been consistently training, And like you said, you've been teaching yourself along the way. I'm simply just somebody who's guiding him at the point in his career right now to help him learn more things that he can do to help himself on the mound. That's the big thing.
It's so easy to be consistent for a week or two, but if it's like you, I remember you were telling a younger athlete in here earlier. It's like if you sign up for the 8-week program and you go 4 days a week, you're missing out on what 30 days, 35 days in the gym.
Oh yeah,
which is unbelievable. Like, yeah, go like have fun, but like at the same time, like you really, when it's time to lock in, just like get it done, just get it over with. Whether it's you don't look forward to doing it, just do it, because then you'll feel so much better after, no matter what. Like, you could ask anyone who goes to the gym, they'd rather go to the gym and do something rather than sit in bed all day and do nothing. You just feel so much better and so much more confident after.
I think the confidence piece, I think you're right. I think the confidence piece is really big, where you might come to the gym, you might feel better, you should feel better, but by you feeling stronger, that's going to carry over. Like if you're on the mound, it's like you have this different level of confidence simply because you're a stronger human, both physically and mentally. So those are great points. I don't know how much you've actually done it, but we have talked about like journaling a little bit. Have you restarted it a little bit or not really?
Well, I really started to journal, at least like kind of vlog.
Yeah.
When I actually had Tommy John surgery back in July of 23, I would vlog every day until like what I was doing in PT. I'd go to PT 4 times a week, and then once I got back to school, since I wasn't really able to do much, I had to journal what I was eating all day, what I was doing to still impress the coaches somehow, whether it's conditioning, just showing up to extracurricular events, how I was doing in school. And now, since I've got back into throwing after our season, I'm journaling how every time I'm throwing goes, whether it's smoother, whether it feels weird, what went well, what went wrong, and how I can fix it the next time. So I think journaling is it's a great thing to do as an athlete.
Yeah. And I know we had talked about it. You had started it up again. We were throwing for the first time, and he had told me that he had journaled before. I'm like, hey, start that thing up again, because you want to know what's going on. My point of the journaling thing is I think it's super valuable. I've used it myself. It's super helpful. My point is, you didn't just become a Division I baseball player because of no reason. You're constantly finding other ways to better yourself. And after having an injury, sometimes that makes you go, oh man, I got to work even harder. And he found an outside the box way of journaling what he was doing and figuring out, hey, let me look back. Let me see what I was doing in my training. So it's valuable because, one, journaling is valuable, but two, you found another avenue of ways to get better.
And also, like when you're writing stuff down, you're like, oh wow, I didn't really do that well. Like when you're actually, like, you could think about it, like I did that, but when you're writing it down, and then you look back the day after, you're like, wow, like that was not a good day.
That's so true.
And and the one thing that I've realized, at least being up here this summer and focusing strictly on conditioning and weightlifting, is I just become obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with everything I do. I take everything super seriously, and I've just become absolutely obsessed with the grind, which is, I feel like, half the battle, even more than half the battle.
100%. Absolutely. We have a couple different stories. One that just popped up yesterday, so I'm going to start with the one that popped up yesterday. Luckily, we have the same shoes on today. I guess I'll tell my side of the story first, and then he can tell his. So our college group comes in about 10 o'clock. They kind of mingle a little bit. We foam roll a little bit. But Dylan's been in the house for at least 5 minutes, maybe. I'm finagling with people's programs, and he's just sitting there not realizing that he has 2 different shoes on. And not like 2 of the same shoe that are different colors. A New Balance
and an Air Force.
And an Air Force One
all white
shoe.
And then all gray. And one of them's like an athletic workout shoe. The other is like a let's go out to a nice dinner shoe. And I don't, when I woke up in that morning, I slipped them on. I don't really think I do the same thing every morning. And I didn't feel a difference, which was crazy. And then I'm foam rolling, and I'm like looking at I'm like, I didn't want to say anything. So I finally said something, and then I just worked out with no shoes for that day. But it was super embarrassing. But hey, I embraced it. That might be like my thing now. I don't know.
What's your new name?
I think the name, we go Double Shoe Dill, for Dylan, obviously. But yeah, that could be my thing on the mound. Maybe I'll rock 2 different cleats, get sponsored by 2 different Nike and Adidas, New Balance.
He's looking for an NIL deal right now. Okay, Nike, New Balance. What do you got?
But yeah, that was by far the biggest brain fart I've probably had in the past few years. I've never, it's just so nonchalant too. I didn't even think about it. Usually, at least on my ride here, I would have thought oh, something feels off. But no, literally nothing. I felt nothing. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, This is unbelievable.
For all you normal humans who are listening to this, Dylan has a size 17 shoe.
Yeah, I feel bad for my coaches because they just have to keep ordering stuff online on Amazon for cleats and workout shoes for me. I never really get the team issued ones. That I always get other ones that no one really else gets.
Hey, it's all good. You're just different like
yeah.
that. Speaking of being different, so another thing, we talk a lot about food, Dylan and I, probably daily. The majority of the hour and a half workout, we're talking about food.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal cook from what he tells me. The other day, can you just explain what your meal was?
All right, yeah. So I went home. I went back to Long Island to see some friends and family. My parents were like, you know what? You've been working hard. We'll take you out. We'll treat you to a nice dinner. So me, my mom, my dad, we were at this restaurant called Blackstone Steakhouse in Long Island.
Shout out to Blackstone.
Yeah, hopefully they give us free time off. So my mom, she ordered whatever she wanted. Then me and my dad were listening to the waiter. He was giving us some specials, and like the specials took probably like 15 minutes. He probably said 100 specials and did not mess up once. And then, so he said the specials, and we were looking at the menu. Nothing really caught my eye. It was super expensive. So then I was like, Dad, you want to split the 42-ounce tomahawk?
Yeah.
So he was like, you know what? Each steak was like $80. Sure. Like, we didn't say a price, so we were like, sure, we'll take the risk. See what's up. And the guy came out table side with a big hunk of meat and started cutting it, slicing it, put it on the stovetop, fire. It was all table side, and it was easily one of, not the best steak of my life. So medium rare with a side of mashed potatoes and some green beans. And was it worth the bill at the end? 100%. I would go back there 100% if I was able to and get that steak every day of the week if I could. But you know, the one thing that was more important was how I woke up the next day. Because I've been to a bunch of restaurants with my friends and family, and I'll get a cheeseburger with fries.
Yeah.
And then I wake up the next day at like 10 a.m. and not know what to do. Just get up, walk around, and just go back into bed. But I just felt so energetic and just wanted to get up and get going. I think that, I don't know what it was, but.
I think the moral of this story is, number one, eat a lot of steak.
Yeah, 100%.
Number two, if you want to get big, you got to eat big.
Yeah.
That's the moral of that story. I just think it's hilarious because we talk about tomahawk steaks now all workout long. That's all we can talk about.
42 ounces. I probably ate like 26. My dad probably ate like 16 of it. Shout out, Dad, but for paying. But yeah, it was easily one of the best meals of my life, and it was just awesome that I spent it with my parents. I don't really get to see them that often, so it was just a good time overall.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. If there's any good steak places in Capital District, let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Me and Coach Matt will go try it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a couple more things. We're actually doing great on time. This is I thought him and I sometimes can go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
As much as this is hard for me to admit, I currently have lost Dylan playing Spikeball. He is currently the in-house champion with Ty Sawsville, who we'll have on next week for the podcast. Mm-hmm. Did you start playing Spikeball in high school, or what's the deal here?
I mean, usually me and my friends would go to the turf field, play football. We'd bring the Spikeball, and we'd play. We wouldn't play super competitive. We'd have friendly serves, but yeah, nothing with me and my friends could be taken lightly. So we're always super competitive with it. So ever since probably sophomore, junior year of high school, we play every now and then, not super often, but it was just a sport that I just naturally picked up. Whether it was going to the beach with my friends and we'd play there, no matter where we'd go, if we had the opportunity to play Spikeball, we would. So
the moral of this story, again, I'm always putting this stuff on here for a reason. I'm going back to the very beginning of this. This is a multi-sport high school athlete that was successful in 2 sports. We played Spikeball the other day, and again, I'm still meeting Dylan. We only know each other for about 2 months, at least working together. This dude is running 20 yards to get a ball, and then he's back at it. And everybody who knows me knows how much I love Spikeball for the athlete. We're going to have to play again. Yeah. But my point of it is this is a Division I college athlete, and I thought Spikeball would be beneficial for our athletic qualities. We had a lot of fun. He beat my team. But my point is add some stuff into your life. If you don't play other sports, get the Spikeball and that going. Get something else in, because it's a great way to get athletic movements in a fun way. Yeah. Spikeball is pretty safe as long as we're not spiking it 1,000 times as a pitcher. Yeah. We have no issues. But that's why I'm telling the story. I'm not happy that he beat me. It's going to change at the end of the summer somehow, some way.
Yeah. 2 things. Not only is it good for the athletic movements and stuff, just the competing part of it.
Absolutely.
You want to win no matter what you do. I've never heard of losing as a good thing.
No.
No. You want to win, and no matter whether it's playing cards or playing Spikeball, you want to win. So, and this is the other thing. if you're in the capital region or in anywhere local to Albany, we challenge you to a Spikeball game, no matter when and where. Just let us know in the comments. Me and Ty Sauceville will meet you anywhere for a good, friendly game of Spikeball.
This wasn't on the script. I love that call out.
Script,
I love that call out.
I'm just too confident.
I love that. I have only 2 things left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this because I don't know if I put it on the script or not, but we have other pitchers in here. We have high school pitchers in here, and just we had a situation where we were talking to another pitcher. Dylan happened to be there, and I'm like, what do you think about this situation? The pitcher was talking about being very analytical, if you remember this, and he literally, I didn't say anything to him. I'm just like, I kind of looked at him. He's just like, dude, you got to stop thinking and just pitch.
Yeah.
I kind of want to let you just like go with that for a second because you were going off on a tangent, and I really wish I had videotaped it because I believe in what you were saying. But can you just talk to like young pitchers? Because right now they have a cell phone in their hand, like, this guy's doing this. My arm angle isn't here. I'm over here. The wind's blowing to the left, so now I got to switch up my whole mechanics. Can you just go through that as a pitcher? Like,
I mean, baseball is a hard game mentally as is, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter. So you just have to control the stuff that you can control. Don't try to do anything that you're not capable of, especially in game. Yeah, we'll work on it if it's not working in the game, but there's just such like a thing where you just play so loose and free, and things will work out. I promise you. And it's like you don't want to get into the analytics of it, how hard you're throwing, what's my spin rate, am I getting whiffs on this pitch, am I locating this pitch? No, it's just throw the ball, and that's all it is. It's such a mind game that you're pitching is really just like a 1v1 versus, as much as you think it's 1v1 versus you and the batter, it's 1v1 versus yourself. Like you say, I'm going to make this pitch on the outside corner, throw it on the outside corner.
Love that.
Like if you miss a little bit, so what? Throw the next one on the outside corner. It's just like, you just got to stop thinking and just play the game that we all grew up loving. And like, that's it. Just have fun with it.
I really think people are listening to this right now, and you've got parents like, no, we got to do this, and this, and you have kids going, no, we have to do this, and they throw 71 and they don't throw strikes. So,
a kid on our college team, not going to say name, but he was one of our best relievers.
No names.
One of our best relievers this year. 6'5", pretty big dude. Threw like 80 to 82 miles an hour with a curveball and an occasional changeup, and he was one of our most trustworthy relief guys.
But he could pitch.
He knew how. That's the thing. You could throw hard. I've seen guys get tattooed throwing 95, 96 miles an hour, and then you have a guy like the kid on my team throwing 80 to 82, going 3 scoreless innings in the biggest weekend of the year. So that's really it. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. Movement matters, but as long as you can locate and throw strikes, as long as your strike percentage is up there, you keep your pitch count down, don't work for strikeouts, that's all it takes. Then you'll be successful, I promise you.
I love that. Yeah. It's just important for many people to hear that, both from the baseball world and all of sports. It's like the analytics and technology and all that stuff, it's important. When you get to the higher levels, those things do matter. But 100%. This is someone who's a Division I pitcher, and this is his mentality right now. He works at all the skills and stuff, but when he goes onto the mound, he's prepared, and he knows how to play the game of baseball. He knows how to pitch. Yeah. It's important. I don't need high school coaches reaching out to me and kids, parents getting all frustrated. Like, we're not saying don't use the analytics, don't go to a pitching coach, but when you step on the mound, if you're not striking people out, you're not getting your ground balls, if you're not getting outs, you need to fix how you pitch. You need to worry about that and stop thinking about all these little things while you're on the mound.
And baseball, I just love it. A game of adjustments, obviously, especially, at least as a hitter and a pitcher. Like, you miss a spot, like, all right, what did I do wrong there?
Yeah.
And then you find your spot. But yeah, it's just a matter of adjustments and being able to wash away what happened 5 seconds ago. Whether you let up a home run, boom, get ahead of the next batter. Whether you struck a guy out, still get ahead of the next batter. It's just it's a mind game, but it's also just a confidence thing. Back to the confidence.
I love it.
Yeah, just have fun with it and don't really focus so much on the extracurricular things because that's kind of out of your control to an extent. But it does matter. The velocity does matter, at least towards the higher levels, Division I, Pro. But it takes time. It doesn't all happen within a week. So just for all the kids out there, the high school players, younger players, just throw strikes and just have fun and just, you have a bad outing, you have a good outing next time. That's all it really is.
I love it. Yeah. You're dropping a lot of fire right now. So, I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's great.
I'm just taking what I learned from.
It's good stuff. I mean, this is like one of the reasons I so badly wanted to have you on here. Yeah. you kind of answered my last point of this, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just talking to all
Yeah.
high school athletes or all athletes in general. One tip, only one.
Yeah.
One tip you're giving to all high school athletes who want to play at the next level.
Just whenever you're set a goal date, whenever that date is, get there with no regrets. Whether you're like, oh, I should have lifted that day, I should have ran harder that day, I should have went to this, I should have went to that. Just do it. Like, live with no regrets from an athletic standpoint, and you'll be fine. And no matter what opportunity you have, capitalize it. Whether you're a bench player, whether you're a starter, like, it could flip like that. So just be ready for your calling, and it will come. If you work hard enough, you can do absolutely anything you want in the real world and especially in the athletic world. So just keep working hard, and there's literally nothing more than that. Just consistently working hard. Yeah.
That's a phenomenal answer. My last one, not to the athletes.
Yeah.
I want one tip or piece of advice to the parents of high school athletes right now.
Yeah.
One tip. Could be about anything.
Yeah, so just obviously, like, the coaches are there for a reason, and they know what they're talking about. Don't be too, like, obviously without our parents, we wouldn't be able to get to tournaments, get to games, get to college, pay for all this, pay for all that. But just let your kid do their thing, and don't be so involved in it as much as you probably think you should. Your kid knows what they have to do, and they know what they should be doing, and just kind of let them do their thing. You don't want to be like that parent that complains all the time. So
you're gonna fire some people up with that one.
Well,
I like it. I like it.
We've all been around it, and
for sure.
It's a little bit embarrassing, but it's also, like, for the kid. Like, your kid doesn't want to have to deal with that either. So if your kid knows what he wants to do and knows how he wants to do it, just let him rock. That's really all it is.
I really love that.
Do his thing.
I really love that.
Yeah.
I think we did it. We did it in 31 minutes and 50 seconds.
I felt like 5 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
Dylan Banner.
Nope.
First outside pod, sunglassed up. He pitches at Albany, so for everybody in this area, go
100%.
out and support him this year.
100%. Varsity field at the campus. Not the best field, but it doesn't get better than a mid-April day on a Friday night. So hopefully we play at Joe Bruno this year, but if not, come to campus and check out some good baseball. I think we're going to be really good this year, so a lot of confidence. And shout out Suarez, physical therapy,
Shout it out, baby.
Anything going wrong, I wouldn't have been able to have a successful year like I did without the help of Coach June, Pat Suarez, Tom, and all those guys in there. So if you have anything bothering you, no matter what, these guys will be able to fix it as soon as they can. So it's very best, probably one of the best physical therapy places I've been in my life, and I've been to a good amount of physical therapy. So
unscripted shout out, baby.
For sure.
We're gonna call it there.
Yeah,
Dill,
I appreciate
you coming on.
Yep.
This is the I Know Nothing podcast. Later.
Let's go.